Hey guys, it's Paul, combat veteran, MMA fighter, YouTuber, and caffeine addict. And today we are doing the member requested, voted on video. This is the Engoodening of No Man's Sky by internet historian. Let's get into it.
Sponsored by that game everyone loves.
Scientists are racing to unlock the secrets of the cosmos. Questions we once thought impossible to answer are within our grasp. Where does the sun go at night?
Is math related to science?
He's asking the real questions here, guys. He is asking the real questions.
The universe is so big, then why won't it fight me?
Fact. Listen, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes it feels like the universe is definitely fighting all of us.
As we look further into the universe, we see light from distant stars, eons old, perhaps hundreds, even thousands of miles away. Hold on, can I get a zoom in on that?
You bet I can. This is one of the world's most powerful telescopes. Initiating 6 times zoom.
This is just ridiculous, guys. I sometimes say Luton has a flair for the dramatic. Obviously, he is a low drama YouTuber compared to this.
Can this baby do 7?
I can do you one better. Maneuvering to 8 times zoom.
Pressure rising, holding steady. I can see it. Unblur.
It won't hold.
Get me.
I mean, there's so much about this that's hilarious. The terrible resolution, the fact that it still has the watermark. It's as though the image of the person pretending to be him is a screenshot, or it is a screenshot. It's just great. It truly, this is peak YouTube filmmaking. You'll never see this on my channel, by the way. I'm far too lazy and terrible at this.
8.5 times.
You're a madman.
Upscale it to 4K.
The helium tanks will go critical.
Opening the blind. Hold her steady. Uncropping and increasing aspect ratio. Now, punch it. There it is. Life on another world. And to think, we owe it all to one indie development studio.
Whew, man, okay.
Hello Games.
Let's start at the beginning.
Okay, So nobody knows what life on another world would look like, right? But you assume that life on another planet will be tailored specifically to exactly that planet, to exactly that world, right? With its exact characteristics, just in the way that literally you can go 200 miles north or south of your location and you will enter and leave the range of certain types of animals that are specifically evolved for just that environment. What's even weirder to think about is that there's no particular reason that a living being that we find will even look like that or even operate in the way that we think of animals operating, right? Like there's like 6, a pack of coyotes sort of, and they're all independent, working together. Maybe the aliens, right, will follow the Alpha Centauri model of being like a planet-wide neural network, right? Or a bunch of black holes that can think for some reason. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it's rewind time. Okay, the year is 2009. Guildford, England. There's a man named Sean Murray.
Okay, 2009. That was 12 years ago. God, I feel so old. I was in Afghanistan, by the way. I might have been flying over Guildford, England, as he was doing this.
And he's just founded a company called Hello Games.
Sean and the boys are working hard on a brand new IP called Joe Danger. 2010 AD. The game just came out. It's a success.
They're a small team. but they are ambitious.
Let's do something bigger, said Sean.
Notice his top idea was Raid Shadow Legends. Which, by the way, you'd think at least Raid Shadow Legends would want to sponsor my videos. No one wants to sponsor my videos, and I'm hurt about it.
Let's reach for the stars. How about Joe Danger 2? Brilliant. It's 2012. Joe Danger 2 has just come out.
Bet that one doesn't perform as well.
We need to do something.
Wait, okay. Red Dead Redemption set in modern day. Okay, wait, I would actually play that. That sounds kind of cool, right? But instead of like a cowboy, you're like in the Wild West of like cryptocurrencies, right? So you have to like fight people, but you also have to like hack computers or steal like hard cold storage wallets and stuff. That could be rad. 18 plus Minecraft, not that great. Farming Simulator Drought Edition. I think actually Amazing Cultivation Simulator, which is a video that is coming out on Combat Veteran Reacts, my other channel. That basically is Farming Simulator Drought Edition. Guitar Anti-Hero also would be sick, right? Like, it's like Guitar Hero, but your goal is to make these like poor choices as a celebrity, but not too poor that you get canceled. So like, you have to get arrested after screaming at people after a cocaine binge, but you're not quite but you can't like beat up your partner, or like, okay, you can have like a bunch of MDMA fueled orgies. I'm gonna get demonetized for all this. But you can't but all the people have to be like of age, so like you gotta be that like bad boy but not get canceled. That in addition to playing really hard songs, and the songs get harder as your life falls apart more and more, right? Like the more drugs you do, the harder it gets to nail your songs, so your songs appear to be harder. Okay, I love this idea.
Something even bigger.
Oh, and Fallout prequel before the apocalypse, dude, this sounds great. The Sino-American War power armor suits, right? Maybe you're like a commando trying to... Dude, I love all these ideas.
Then Joe Danger 2. Joe Danger 3? No. Even more out of this world. Something no man has done before.
Man, he's really playing up this joke.
Joe Danger the mobile game?
Yes! And that came out.
Okay, you'd be crazy not to cash grab your IP to death, right? Just squeeze every last drop of it, because you've already got all the models. You've done all the hard work. Get every dime you can.
2014. Seriously, guys, biggest thing you can think of.
I'm just a stock image, dude. Why don't you think of something?
Sean pondered for a moment, then turned and looked wistfully into the mirror. Reflected back was the visage of Neil deGrasse Tyson.
If you're going to make a space game first person, it's never been done before. How about that? I'm going up in orbit to repair the Hubble telescope. That's not a knife. Who are you going to have sex with? How much microwaves are coursing through your body now?
The planet, said Murray. Space game. Procedural generation. Planet. Okay, that sounds good. Yes, we all agree. So they set to work, cobbled together a prototype, and by VGX 2013, they are ready to announce another new IP.
No Man's Sky.
Check it out.
Da 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 da. I don't even know if I was tuned into video games at all in 2013. Okay, right there should have been a warning sign. Every atom procedural, it literally took, we still don't have a really good model of exactly how every single atom interacts in our world, in our universe, right? The atoms still do weird shit, right? So the idea that you can procedurally generate every atom is preposterous.
Oh, this is special. Oh my God! This is special. Yes. No!
It's 2014, and it's E3 hype time. No Man's Sky has promised to be a game like no other. A practically boundless experience vibrant with life and color and things to explore. What's over there? You'll have to be the one to discover it. And then, wow, look at that big f***ing dinosaur, holy shit. And a moment later, we're in space, having a battle amongst a giant fleet. Claim a planet as your own. Explore the galaxy with your friends.
Okay, that's it. This is gonna be the best game ever, you guys. It even won awards for its hype.
Oof. Winning awards for hype. Yeah, this is setting the stage for disaster. I mean, I sort of, full disclosure, I sort of have a sense of the No Man's Sky trajectory, right? That it started really bad, and then over time they've patched and fixed and turned it into something that's okay.
And it will release in June 2016. The hype train was officially loading up and ready to chug out of the station. At every stop of the journey, there would be press junkets talking about the amazing scale of the game. Spread across 18 quintillion planets. It's so vast that by the time you finish exploring it all, I would have 2 new videos published.
A little self-awareness joke, right? Gotta love it. Where would you host? Guys, here's the problem. There's a lot of problems, but there's a math problem here, and this is one of the how do we know we're in a simulation? The answer is that you can sort of ballpark the minimum amount of computational power that a minimally functional, a perfectly efficient computer could use to render the world before us. And the answer is it would take almost more power than we think the universe has to render the world artificially. It's just too complicated. To actually make every atom procedurally generated as they're describing, even if it was a perfectly efficient computer, the universe wouldn't be able to simulate it, right? Now, of course, you're going to say, well, what if we're all just vats in a jar and it's not simulating the world, but we're simulating us perceiving the world? Even then, just the link, getting it all synced up would be really hard to do and to require, again, an insane volume of energy. So to host 16 quintillion worlds in a single cogent multiplayer, even if those worlds were really basic, would require a server farm and a power source that could power a city.
Sean himself was doing the interviews, because who is better to talk about the game than the lead guy himself? He went from interview to interview, and with each question, the answers he gave raised people's expectations of the game's scope.
Can you land on a comet?
Yeah, at the moment you can land on asteroids.
You could encounter other players.
Can you grief other players?
A little bit. They're literally building your own massively multiplayer world that's procedurally generated.
Sand planets like in Dune, rivers, walking sentinels, hacking. So sophisticated that light diffracts through the atoms, they had to redevelop the whole periodic table to make it work.
What?
Even Elon Musk was hyped for it.
Elon Musk has never been hyped for something that wasn't completely legit. It's never happened. Everything Elon Musk gets excited for, it makes perfect sense.
2 years go by. It's early 2016, and that hype train is really moving now. Perhaps one of the biggest in video game history.
Okay, I'm just going to point this out. I don't understand how Elon Musk is a billionaire. There, I said it. He has, don't get me wrong, PayPal was brilliant, right? Though PayPal wasn't an innovation. It was just a wallet on the internet, right? It's a credit card on the internet. Or a debit card, really, on the internet. Tesla obviously is in fact brilliant, but it's not clear that Tesla can ever make money. They may be in too much debt to make money, and they may, like a lot of companies, go bankrupt when interest rates rise again. And Solar City is a solar firm, as far as I can tell, that makes solar panels, which is neat, but there's a lot of competition. What I don't understand is some of his brilliant ideas don't stand up to even a routine amount of thinking. Like the Boring Company, right? His brilliant idea was to drill a tunnel under Los Angeles. And conceptually, it sounds pretty good. A traffic tunnel under and out of Los Angeles. Though it may not really help much because you're going to have to feed people into the tunnel and out of the tunnel. So for a stretch, you'll have things be better, but they may just get worse on the ends. Sort of like a car version of the toll lanes or the HOV lanes that already exists. But then he was like, no, we're going to put the cars on a sled and we're going to slide them back and forth. And you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense because to slide them back and forth, it's going to be so inefficient. And to do it on a limited number of sleds would be so dangerous and so inefficient. And he completed it. Someone let him complete this project, and it moves like 15 cars an hour. I mean, there are 15 cars passing by my window now. It was so stupid. And like Elon Musk didn't have one person in his life who was like, Elon, this is stupid. Right? And then he promoted Dogecoin, which is, may have been actually his scheme to raise money for Tesla by literally running a pump and dump on cryptocurrencies. That's the only theory I can think, because there's no technical reason Dogecoin should be enjoyed at all. So, yeah, now I'm already ready for this thing to fail because Elon Musk promoted it.
Reddit was shoveling most of the gamer fuel. Skeptics and naysayers are treated as ballast and thrown from the carriage doors. Pre-orders open, and they are doing very well. The date is booked in. Some are even taking the day off work. So much hype there is that... Jason Schreier of the soon-to-be-defunct Kotaku is about to spoil the party. He announces a delay. From June 2016 to August.
Oh my god!
Liar, the incensed audience cries. Please be quiet, they said. And death threats, too. But he was 100% right.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like 2016, and maybe I'm just not tied into it, I feel like 2016, like 2014, 15, and 16, was the high watermark of, like, angry internet fanboys. Like, that was when truly the, like, you could do anything mentality of the internet that only kind of worked because the internet was for, like, computer nerds, transitioned. The internet, everyone else was allowed on the internet, and none of those places had rules suitable for the public. It's like the bathroom at your house, right? My policy is anyone in my house can use my bathroom, right? Because, man, you're in my house, you're my guest, you gotta go, right? But that does not mean my bathroom is equipped to be open to the general public. There are a different set of rules when the general public is allowed to do things. And I feel like perhaps in the 5-year span between about 2000 and really about 2010 and 2015, 16, the internet went from being computer nerd space to the open to the general public. And the result was, of course, that if someone gave you news you didn't like, you threatened to kill them because no one has a sense of scale.
A week later, the delay is officially announced. Ooh, sorry lads, we need more polish, said Sean in his usual accent. To that, Sean received some death threats too, by the way. Although
this is reasonable.
He didn't take them as seriously or go to the police. Yet.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
But the impatient crowd relaxed a bit and said, fine, we will wait. But we expect a level of polish no man has ever seen. Speaking of waiting, Shadow Man.
Okay, alright. So there is a debate in the comments, and on the Discord, in fact, over whether or not I should skip ads on videos I react to. On one camp, they say, hey, these ads are part of the video, and they're how these creators make money. So if you're going to react to it, you have an obligation to continue playing these ads. However, on the other hand, those advertisers, they didn't agree to have their product shown on my channel. My channel may not even, it's possible they could not even be legally allowed to show my channel. They may not want to be associated with my channel's branding. So yeah, this is the debate, right? And maybe I'll like straddle the line where it's like, okay, the proprietary gamer fuel of Russian Badger. That is his brand, right? Russian Badger's Gamer Fuel. Maybe I'll let that ad play, but like Raid Shadow Legends, maybe I'll just let him go, right? You want to be on my video? Sponsor your own. I mean, get at me, guys.
Wait, Mum's dead?
Raid Shadow Legends.
Ad over.
Nice. Wasn't even chaptered out.
So let's talk about the team in charge of all that polishing. It's small. Tiny. In fact, I haven't been able to find a smaller team behind a AAA release.
Oh God. Okay, so let's talk about personnel management for a minute. Okay, if your team designing one of the most ambitious games in history is 6 people, and 1/6 of your team is doing press tours, that's a problem. That's a huge problem, especially if it's your managing director. Like, Rutro Raggy, like, you've got to understand how to manage people. And I've talked about this in other videos, right? But like okay, so if you have 6 people and you can work them 40 hours a week. Let's say this is the gaming industry, which is notoriously abusive. Let's say you work 6 people 100 hours a week. You have 600 hours a week to develop a game. But wait, there's a problem. Your director, right, is spending most of his time, let's say 50% of his time, on press tours and E3 and conferences and hype tours and all this other stuff, right? So now you're down to just 550, right? That was almost a 10% loss in your per weekly output, right? By comparison, look at that AAA dev team. They get 600 work hours, probably in about 2 days, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say it's about 2 days, maybe a day and a half. And that takes this team 7 full days, or a week, right? So, yeah, this is the problem, right? This is the sort of crisis that you run into, is that these guys, the regular AAA team on the left, is going to develop a game over time. It's going to be probably about 5 to 7 times faster. And a game like No Man's Sky, right? Like, this is how fraud schemes happen.
All of these expectations are on the shoulders of just 6 people, expanding to a team of 15 by the end of production.
Oh God.
July. It's just a couple of weeks until the release date. Whatever the state of the game by now, however much it's finished, that's what's going out. The Hello Games team celebrates with this iconic image.
The quintessential soy face.
They're exhausted. Look at what video...
Yeah. I mean, okay. Do you want me to share my thesis on the soy face? Here's the soy face theory. My theory is that people that do it, that open their mouth... I can't even do it. Are people that are really insecure about just smiling. They feel like just smiling for a picture is just they just hate their face, right? They feel like smiling for a picture must surely make people uncomfortable. I think it's actually a function of anxiety, of yes, every smile in a picture is fake. That is how smiling works. Human beings have been smiling at things they don't find funny for the entirety of their evolutionary history, ever since we had to impress the first tribal, larger ape, right? We developed a way to go. Cool. Nice. Right? But some people just feel so insecure that they think their regular fake smile that every human being does is going to, like, annoy people, right? And so they go... And somehow they find that better. I don't know.
Video game production does to a man.
God, what's wrong with your face?
Nonetheless, they continue.
Yeah. I say this as a man whose beard is very white. I feel for the guy, man. You get haggard. You get haggard in this world.
Working on the day 1 patch. And... Sean... If your game isn't coming out for another 2 weeks, Then why is there a box copy on eBay? That's right, it's a leak. Someone broke the embargo and is selling early access to the highest bidder. And the bids start rolling in. It reaches $1,300.
Jesus. For what, 24 hours of gameplay? Dude, maybe the bubble was starting early.
US. Sold to some guy with the Reddit handle Damien. He gets his hands on it and starts uploading footage to YouTube and Dailymotion.
Okay. This was a business expense. He was scooping the game to grow his YouTube channel. Brilliant, actually. Though, why Dailymotion? Dailymotion doesn't pay you for your videos, bro. Sell ads and sell merch. You gotta monetize. If you're putting in the effort, you've got to... Why? Like, okay, here's the thing with YouTube. YouTube's gonna roll ads whether you monetize or not. YouTube just says if you monetize, they give you a cut of it. That's it. So scoop your game, but then write it off as a business expense. Don't pay taxes on that stuff. What? Don't pay taxes on your earnings.
What the frick? Said Sean and Sony. Damien finished it a lot quicker than expected, but he gave it a decent review.
There are things I don't like, there are things I like, but at the end of the day, when I say to myself, what is this game supposed to be? This, what I'm looking at right here, this is what the game is supposed to be.
He noted a few problems, but...
That's a fish digging for worms. But hey, maybe the gravity's different on this planet, right? I could see that. Like, you know, the atmosphere's more dense, the animals are lighter, maybe they're full of helium or something. So they're going to float and they're going to evolve into looking like fish that, you know, like one of those foxes that kind of dive into the snow to hunt a rabbit. Just, they see a little, you know, space mouse and they just want to...
But said he was optimistic that they would be ironed out with the day one patch. Sean? It's another leak. Some retailers broke the official release date, journalists too, and they started streaming playthroughs of the game. What the? Sony tried to DMCA all these videos, but their aim was terrible.
Round of applause, everyone. We've officially become No Man's censored by Sony.
Our news story from earlier this week about No Man's Sky leaks has been hit with a copyright strike on YouTube.
They went bumbling around from...
Here's the thing, I don't know if it was like this in 2016, but a copyright strike is a huge deal on YouTube. Your channel only gets 3 of them. And, by the way, there is sort of an appeal process now, but it used to be if the people who could file copyright strikes were almost always large corporations. And so if those large corporations decided that you were violating their copyright, or maybe they just didn't like your existence, they would just throw a strike at you. And if they can get 3 strikes, which is easy to do if you have, say, Sony US, Sony EU, and Sony Japan, 3 separate entities, throwing copyright strikes at you, boom, your channel's gone.
Platform to platform, just taking down any video that even talked about the leak or showed the trailer footage. But it was too late. The footage had people talking more skeptically about the game, especially because there were no early review copies.
Troubling.
Bad.
And it was looking like the weight of all these expectations had become too much, and the whole thing was about to give.
I love his aspect ratio change to make it more cinematic.
Oh no. It's August. Everyone's here. We've all bought the game and we're fucking hyped. Here we go, lads. Oh dear lord, it isn't finished.
Okay, I'm just going to point something out. That is not uncommon behavior among animals. Especially when they see it, I don't know. It wouldn't be the first time, right? Everybody has that friend with the weird dog.
Hello, Sean. It is me, the auditor of games.
The official gaming inspector.
I used to work at an astronomy lab. Don't worry about that. It seems like you've made a lot of promises. Promises that you have not kept. Let's go through the checklist. Have you got any large-scale joinable space battles?
Nobody would want that.
Ringed planets?
No.
Fine. Well, at least let me play as a trader.
Some may call this junk. Me, I call them...
No.
Those sand planets from June look nice. Think I might... Please, Sean, there must be rivers.
No, it's not.
Animals interact with each other in the environment?
Then, sort of.
No.
Packs of walking sentinels, Sean.
No.
I'm literally crying right now. Should I even ask whether I can play as a space pirate?
No.
I mean, I just love people want so bad, and I'm among them. Everybody wants to see the everyone wants to see this new wave, right? Everyone wants to watch just the paradigm shift happen. And it just doesn't happen that often. And here's the other thing. If you've studied history, you know that these paradigm shifts aren't really that unexpected. All right, look at the Wright brothers, okay? People are like, the Wright brothers invented powered flight. And it's true. It is absolutely true. But the idea that powered heavier than air flight was impossible was really, really being disproven. All over the world at around the turn of the 19th century, you had engineers designing ever more efficient gliders. These gliders were able to cover sometimes miles, right, by being launched off of a hill. And so the science of sustained heavier than air flight, they were getting closer and closer and closer, right? They just needed a way to power it, right? And so the idea that the Wright brothers, obviously a great leap forward, the creation really of aviation technology, but the idea that man was landlocked until the Wright brothers invented the plane wholesale is not really true. They took the most advanced gliders design and they stuck an engine on it, right? They took the last step, right? They stuck an efficient engine on it. They took that last step, and that was the paradigm shift. But to say it was unexpected or that we hadn't seen a steady rise to this powered flight is untrue. And so I think when someone comes in and they promise that they are going to do something that is radically different than anything anyone has ever done before, your first thought should be, this is probably a scam or at the very least overpromising.
Factions with different attributes.
You picked the wrong house, fool! Oh!
Fly between star systems manually.
But nobody's actually done it yet.
If I can maneuver like in the trailer, I'll still be happy.
No.
Well, day-night cycles determined by the orbit of the sun.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Land on an asteroid, radio chat, and name your ship, hacking, portals, all that stuff about the elements, Sean.
No.
This is not good, Sean. This is very not good.
And ironically, the only bugs this game doesn't have are the butterflies in the demo.
Buried buildings, aggressive emojis, tractor beam malfunctions, animal husbandry, oil slick world, raining grass, retarded...
Raining grass sounds like it'd be sick. As it would a world covered in oil. These are real things that could definitely happen in the universe.
Animals doing retarded things.
Okay, we don't use that word anymore, I think, right? Well, has he gotten canceled yet? Maybe he got canceled and then came back, like the whole cycle is completed just before I've seen this video. I don't know. The news cycle's pretty fast now, man.
Ships interiors.
You get canceled for I think a day now, right? Didn't we cancel Logan Paul and he was out for like the exact span of one nice vacation, right? He was like, I'm gonna take a break, and then he was gone for the exact time it takes to fly down to Bora Bora and chill in a one of those nice resorts for 2 weeks, and he comes back with a tan and is like, I'm ready to resume, or he just didn't acknowledge what happened, right? That's I feel like the natural cancellation cycle. One good vacation.
Disappear. First person mode as a gun. That's not how flying works. That's my only means of transportation, leaving the planet. Take off. Really take off. Holes in the map. Holes in my graphics card. Whole lot of nothing from down here. Textures bugging out. Animals bugging out. Animals breakdancing. Look at these busy hands. Hello there.
Okay, I would love to see plants. Okay. What makes an alien world fun is that you'd see stuff that doesn't make any sense, right? If everything looks like a version of a rhinoceros, a version of a butterfly, a version of a tree, it's fun, But I'd rather be like, yo, I want to see the sea anemone plant that's just constantly freaking out, right? And maybe, it evolved that way to catch very fast bugs. I don't know. That's what would make an alien world cool, is that things have to be alien.
And a couple of unrequested ejector seats.
Okay, that's a lot of stuff. I get the picture. No wait, poor graphics rendering. Some can't even start the game. Frame rate issues, constant crashes. Major publications are having trouble playing the game on their machines. Even the best 1080 Ti's are stuttering. Alt-tabbing?
You know what's funny is that back then people were like, oh, this game's so old, 1080 Ti. But thanks to the graphics, the chip card shortage, now 1080 Ti is as good as you can get. That's still better than what I run on my machine.
That's a guaranteed crash. Desktop notifications. That's a...
We don't even have chips to put in cars. Like, don't try to buy a new car, because buying a new car has an expected delivery date of like 20 weeks.
Crash. Playing the game. That's a crash. Changing options in the game without restarting. You'll get this. And if you got the pre-order version with the bonus spaceship, you might have a problem. Your special ship already comes with a hyperdrive inside it. Great, right? No, because you have to craft it in order to finish the tutorial missions. And if you haven't finished the tutorial missions, you can't leave the star system. So whoops, until they patch it, you're stranded.
That's why I give my kids
No Man's Sky.
a fool.
This sequence is less buggy than the original No Man's Sky appears to be.
Ah, my ship's in bits! Okay, thank you.
Just a quick note about how high expectations were for this game, and just how...
Great expectations. Wasn't that the one about how a poor poor street urchin could, with the right circumstances, become a wealthy gentleman? And it also proved that you had to have fundamentally good character or something, right? There's a guy. Anyway, all the point is, I feel like there's some sort of hidden message there that a more well-read person than I could pick up on.
How many people bought it on release, myself included. Over 750,000 purchases on Steam at launch. It's the single best-selling game on the PlayStation Store that month. And the large proportion of people who bought it in the hopes of playing with their friends, well, you're in for a surprise. This one is a literal game changer.
Good one. Good one.
Is it even possible to meet up with your friends in No Man's Sky? The answer is absolutely yes, it's possible.
On multiple occasions, Sean said it was definitely in the game.
Will you be able to play with your friends? Yeah.
That's the face of someone who wants to say no, but ekes out yes.
Can you run into other people, other players on the game?
Yes.
Oh my god, he was on Stephen Colbert promoting this? Oh my god, this was never gonna succeed.
But then just before the release, Sean posted this cryptic tweet.
Like, to release a AAA game that was doing things no one had ever done before with a 15-person studio, you would have to hire all geniuses. I mean, you would have to hire all geniuses, because they would have to create procedure, like, to me it seems, as a layperson, they would have to create these like new types of procedural driven rendering, right, that have never been done at scale in a game before. I mean, right, like you have like Diablo 2 that has procedurally generated maps in 2000, but nothing like what they're talking about. So you would have to literally have people, like 15 people, who are like all pushing the boundaries of, commercial computer science forward.
Tweet.
But their previous experience had been working on Joe Danger, a side-scroller.
Be super clear, No Man's Sky is not a multiplayer game. Please don't go in looking for that experience.
Oh, what? So there's no multiplayer function. But then the next line contradicts that.
Because the chances of two players ever crossing paths in a universe this big is pretty much zero.
the chance that you dark. Again, if it's 16 quintillion worlds, it's... And also, like, if you can navigate faster than the speed of light, you just have to call your friend on the telephone and identify the same place. Just like the chances of you walking into an apartment and finding your friend are 0. Ha 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 ha. And it's true, if I randomly picked apartments in my neighborhood, I would never find any of my friends, but I don't. I have their address. They tell me where they live.
Oh, so it is multiplayer. You just have to overcome this finding each other hurdle.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
Right? No, it's more confusing than that, because the box doesn't mention online playing, just network features, and the collector's edition had its online play icon stickered over. So customers are going, which one is it, Sean? Just tell us if it has multiplayer or it doesn't have multiplayer. Sean wouldn't give any answers. But after hundreds of thousands of purchases, people soon took it upon themselves to find out, despite the claims that it would be so improbable.
Chances of that are incredibly rare, just because of the size of what we're building.
It's not... How... Does he not know how people work? Like, yes, if I scribble something on an envelope and send it into the postal service, the chances that it gets to my friend are basically 0. But if I write an address, the letter can find them, Sean, an internet historian. Like again, the fact that people, like, accepted these things uncritically, despite being utter nonsense, again, in retrospect, right? I'm sure there was a lot of things that seemed to make sense. It's just like, guys, just if something is hyped, go into hype skeptically, right? And if something, right, like you're never worse off by just being a little more cautious about the hype around something.
On the very first day, 2 people noticed they were only 4 star systems from one another, and they met up on the same planet in a live stream. Oh dear.
A black pillar.
Our streams are exactly lined up. If you go look at my stream, we're looking at the exact same area right now if you don't move.
Yep, that's the same spot. And they can't see each other.
I'm alone!
That settles it. It's not multiplayer because it's so big. It's not multiplayer because it's just not fucking multiplayer. And this led to quite a revolt. What did Sean have to say about all this?
So amazing, 2 people found each other on the first day.
That has blown my mind.
I'm not even going to say it again, but it bothers me. Just the logic, just the poor logic bothers me.
So why can't we see other players in game?
Wow, so many of you playing.
Yeah, Sean, but why?
Truly amazing. My mind is blown.
So what's the game actually like then?
Is it any good? That is a difficult thing to say.
Well, it certainly is stylish and pretty, and there are a lot of places to explore. But that doesn't mean there's much to find. In fact, the game boils down to a very simple loop. Hold down the trigger to pick up resources, deal with a full inventory, get an upgrade, leave the planet, go to another planet. Hold down the trigger, deal with a full inventory, get an upgrade, leave the planet, go to another planet. Hold down the trigger, deal with a full inventory, leave the planet, go to another planet, deal with a full inventory, get an upgrade, leave the planet, go to another planet. That's it.
Kevin Sorbo as Hercules will never not be funny. You could just write just so much worse stuff in the 90s and people would just eat it up, right? I mean, you got to think in the 90s, right? Like there was almost no like indie media, right? The idea, like even if you had, think about it, like if you had a feeling, an opinion about a TV show that sucked, how could you share it? You could write a letter to your local newspaper about how lame the writing in Hercules was? Like, no. You could talk to your friends if they cared, if you had friends, right? But, like, if you wanted to know what other people thought about Hercules, you'd have to go to, like, People Magazine or, like, Us or, like, a major media outlet. And as we all know, those at the highest levels are sort of owned largely by the same people, right? Those media outlets depend on money from advertisers. Those advertisers are also investors in other ventures. And so, you know, it would be rare that you would see a honest, not rare, but it was less likely you would see an honest editorial criticism of things, right? You'd be more likely to have friendly outlets praise associated properties, and of course disparage their competitors' properties. This is why you get away with producing, I think, total crap. You also, I'm going to point out, had these weird like moments because there was only a single like channel, right? There was only one-way mass media, and it was a few major channels and a few major magazines and a few major newspapers, and that was it, right? That meant that if you were a celebrity that was in that pipeline, that the ability, you could become like, imagine if every single, the attention paid to every streamer, whether it's some e-girl with 1,000 simps or your Jacksepticeye and your Kim Kardashian, right? All the attention of celebrity. Imagine if it was concentrated. People's attention was focused on whatever story, whatever celebrity the media spotlight focused on. That's how, like, there will probably never be another Michael Jordan because there's never going to be a time again, hopefully, where all media is governed from the top down. And when Michael Jordan became a profitable enterprise, that was it. It was done. If you've seen the Bulls documentary, you know what I'm talking about. Like, there was just nothing like it. Same with Britney at her peak, you know?
$60, ladies and gentlemen.
Refuel your multi-tool, refuel your life support, refuel a separate part of your multi-tool that shoots bullets instead of the mining beam, refuel your launch thrusters. It's busy work that makes it look like you have something to do. It's not real.
How dare you?
What followed was one of the most dramatic crashes in player numbers in gaming history. Sales in the UK fell by 81% in the second week. Concurrent players on Steam dropped from 212,000 in August to just over 2,000 by September.
Oh my god. 2,000 players?
And fewer than 1,000 by October.
And what followed that was perhaps the biggest pile-on in gaming history. Reviewers on YouTube panned the game.
Oh, for fuck's sake! You done fucked it up!
I had no hype, and I can tell you that, even without that disappointment, this game is hot garbage.
I just love a good YouTube review.
Has anyone coined Sean Mourinho yet?
Numerous times within the first 2 hours of the game, I kept saying, this is it, fuck this shit.
Reviewers in the media were almost as harsh.
Devastating realization that most of the crafting, combat, and other activities you do on and between those planets ranges between bemusing and outright bad.
The criticism was deafening. And a lot of it really funny and creative. Krobycat made a video that captured the sentiment of that day, and if you haven't seen it yet, you're missing out.
So people are furious. The game is boring, and soon people discover that complaining about the game is actually more fun than playing it.
Wait, I'm now 3.5
Is that Darkside Phil? Jesus, why would you profile him of all the streamers?
hours into the tutorial, pretty much.
So they started complaining about it like they were grinding for an achievement.
This sucks. Fucking Minecraft in space.
Many people made compilations of all the unfulfilled promises. One guy on the subreddit compiled a big list of all the missing features. Front page. Got a defense for No Man's Sky? Enjoy your downvote. In fact, the entire
anomalous combat death detected.
No Man's Sky subreddit was in such disarray it had to be locked.
So by the end of the month, Metacritic was like scrolling through a bowl of Cheerios. By October, it was one of the worst rated games on Steam, with an aggregate of mostly negative from more than 70,000 reviews.
Wow, that's impressive.
The outrage at the game was headline news for weeks on dozens of games news publications, and the price on eBay and Amazon and secondhand at GameStop was crashing through the floor.
God, remember physical games? That was weird. That was a weird time. Now, thankfully, we don't own anything, so at any time, the corporation that owns it can just reach back into your system and snatch it away.
Please, no more. But
that actually is one of the things that kind of worries me about like the digitization of everything. Is that, you know, let's say you write a book in the year 2000. It includes some things that we would now consider offensive, and your publisher decides, hey, you know what? We are just going to reach into everyone's Kindle, everyone that downloaded the book, and we're just going to snip out the offensive parts. Well, something is still lost, even if it's seen as offensive, right? And to not have any original copies of that, right, would be, it's not a good look. 2, it lets you sort of do this weird rewriting of history. And 3, it prevents you from sort of looking back and seeing how things were done in their original context. I mean, look at how many ancient tomes, scrolls, and texts we just wish we had in their original form.
But the beatings had only just begun. The demo planet was data mined and found to be, of course, totally scripted and not randomly generated at all.
I've just got to pick one of these at random. If anything horrible goes wrong, just keep in mind that I've not been here before.
It wasn't some level that we built or something like that, even though I think it looks quite nice in places.
People watching this would wonder why you're showing this area again. Like, what's so special about demoing the game on this planet?
Oh, no, it's just a place that looks nice.
No, bad Murray.
I could have ended the demo with some, pre-scripted crazy thing that would happen. You know what I mean? The normal thing of like, and then a monster emerges from behind the mountains,
Disappointed!
People see what's going on with the game and feel lied to. This is false advertising, they say, and angry customers start scoping out a lawsuit. On September 28th, the ASA busts through the door and goes, "Yep, too many complaints. We're going to investigate." But then soon after, the ASA cleared them of any legal wrongdoing. Technically, the only thing they're interested in is what's on the back of the box, what's on the store page, and what's on the Steam page. So it's technically not false advertising. But of course, technically,
the overall impression of the ad was consistent with gameplay and footage provided. Oof.
not illegal doesn't mean much to an angry audience. October 28th, Hello Games Twitter is hacked. The hacker posts, "No Man's Sky was a mistake," and is shitting on the game in the replies. Turns out Sean didn't use two-factor authentication on his LinkedIn, and that's how they got in. They also sent discrediting emails to journalists, which they knew would run.
I'm contacting unwarranted unprofessional. We asked me to speak, and I have a confession to make. The game was simply unfinished upon arrival. Our hand was forced not only by Sony, but by the community as well. A constant harassment of gross misconduct on the community's part. It's made it hard to fulfill our artistic vision, while the pressure from Sony to release the game as soon as possible forced to cut key features. Wait, this sounds like a defense. This may not be a hacking. Yeah, we're just a small studio. Oh man, this may not have been him being hacked. This sounds like really empathetic to Sean.
Rile.
This doesn't sound like anything a troll or hacker would do. He probably did this himself. He was probably drunk.
People up if published. Some people even show up to their offices to take
Yeah, that was probably just Sean.
Photos and knock on the door, even at night and on the weekend. They posted empty pictures of the office, so naturally out of context, this started rumors that Hello Games simply took the money and ran. This in addition to numerous bomb and death threats during that period. Those ones Sean did have to take seriously.
Yeah, they're threatening your family. Jesus.
Regular intervention from police and Scotland Yard and things like that.
And while Sony didn't quite throw them under the bus, it was more like a gentle push under a minivan when Sony President Shohei Yoshida admitted that Hello Games did not have a great PR strategy for No Man's Sky. The press took
That's a pretty horrible burn coming from a high-ranking Japanese businessman.
the ball with that one and ran.
The Japanese are famous for understating like pretty horrible stuff.
But despite all of this, all of the negative press, they were actually nominated for a couple of awards. But by this point, Murray and the other members of Hello Games were so downtrodden and so sure they weren't going to win that they opted to go elsewhere for dinner.
And the Innovation Award goes to No Man's Sky.
I can't tell what's editing and what is it really happened.
Lovely
I feel like it would be so uncomfortable that I want to see the real footage.
trophy going once.
Whoops.
I'm going to accept this on the behalf of Hello Games, and congratulations to them. And I'm going to walk off stage like I planned that whole thing.
Credit to that dude for sort of recognizing the awkwardness, but also having the like personality to just sort of roll with it.
By this point, you've got to feel
The hello showers.
just a little bit sorry for them. And then what followed that was the final straw for many. No particular incident, but a lack of incidents. Silence. Over 3 months of not a damn word from No Man's Sky. Where are they? Where is my refund? Where is Murray? Shouted into the void.
When I think maybe he pulled a, not a Voltron. What's the movie where they go into the computer, everything is neon? Starts with a V, they ride the bikes. Tron! There you go, not Voltron, just Tron. Yeah, he pulled a Tron. He's in there exploring the universe. His buggy, horrible universe.
The game was over.
That would be a fitting punishment. Actually, no, it would be horrible for someone whose crime was overpromising on a video game.
And it was dead.
Oh, okay. You know what, guys? We are at 56 minutes exactly. So I am going to pause it there. We will finish this out next Friday because I am a man of my word, and you members deserve to see the whole thing. And we're only halfway through this video. So in lieu of a 2-hour saga, we're going to be doing this in 2 parts. Part 1, this is it. We're wrapping it up here. But if you too want to submit and vote on my Friday reaction video, and you want the opportunity to join me on stream, get exclusive access to rooms on the Discord, and support the channel, check out the YouTube membership. It's the join button right next to the subscribe button. But if you want to come hang out in the Discord, it's a lot of fun. That link is in the description, as is the merch store. Another great way to support the channel. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.